Duane, how's it going?
Good, DLynn. How are you been?
Doing very, very well. Just getting out a little tweet, letting the great folks in Twitterland and YouTube and Facebook Live and everywhere know that you and I are about to have another wonderful conversation. I mean, look, we've had some incredible guests on, some amazing guests. And these discussions and conversations with DLynn and Duane, they never disappoint. Looking forward to today. What about you?
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really enjoy our guest today. He's a good friend of Fantesca's and a friend of ours, so I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, I'm not coming to you live today from DLynn's den. I chose a bit different location, but we can't wait to get DLynn's den back up and running. You know, per the governor's orders, of course, all tastings are to be held outdoors, social distancing tables, obviously at least 6 feet apart. But our beautiful space is 95% ready to go. And once the doors open back up for indoor tastings in the Great Napa Valley, I can't wait to welcome each and every one of you listening and viewing and watching and tweeting and retweeting. I can't wait to have you back into the inside of the property, Fantesca Estate Winery, as well as about 3/4 of a mile down the road in historic downtown St. Helena, inside DLynn's den.
Yeah, you know, DLynn, right now during the pandemic, though, we're actually able to host people outside of the winery. And so we're doing it on the beautiful deck. We've got a space actually just right nestled against the winery itself called the Alcove. And we're seeing guests as they make it up. A lot of the people that are coming right now are actually from San Francisco, and they're just trying to get out of the city for a day or two and come up to Napa. So we're actually able to take people in and host them. And it's actually really nice during this period of time. I think one of the things you got to remember, I always tell people, we're in a situation where when you're making wine, you need the good microbes to do their job and the bad microbes to stay out. So instead of it being about sterilizing everything, it's about cleanliness, cleanliness, cleanliness. And so we're actually pretty used to just cleaning every single surface. That's something that's new for our team. So we're able to handle that pretty well. Obviously, with the size of the property, 53 acres, we're able to social distance and give people a really great experience. So those of you who are coming out, we'd love to host you, love to have you.
Absolutely. So look, without further ado, I am incredibly excited to welcome on Mr. Mark Sanchez, a wonderful ESPN and ABC college football analyst, incredible and amazing NFL quarterback, now retired, USC star standout, go Trojans, and look, really, really happy to have him with us today. He's a busy, busy guy. I mean, he's got fourth and forever. He's doing stuff. He's busy. So let's bring him on now and welcome him to the crew.
Thank you guys for having me. Thanks, Noah, for letting me use your office. Good to see you guys. What's up, DLynn? What's up, Duane?
Hey, how you been?
Shoot, if I were any better, it'd be against the law, buddy. That's what my dad always said.
Are you deep into prepping for this college season, or are you like the rest of us fans? You're just kind of waiting for okay, guys, how are we actually going to pull this across the line?
So one of the most important things for an analyst to do during the off season is watch spring games. And I'm just dying right now because I can't, it's hurting my preparation because I can't watch all these youngsters that are at potentially the bottom of their roster and learn all the names for when you do get thrown onto a game and there's a lightning delay or a rain delay. And then you got to generate content. So that's when you go to like your memory bank of, oh yeah, I watched Arkansas spring game. I watched, USC spring game. I know who the second, third, fourth quarterback are. I know the coach that went from this school to that school and now he's calling plays, whatever. You lose a lot of that. So without having some of that, if we get any rain delays, now I'm hoping for good weather because we have to generate content and it gets wild out there.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. So we've been having some of these conversations and it's been great. DLynn has actually, through a couple of friends of friends, he's managed to kind of hook in with a couple of NBA guys who love wine. So we've talked to Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, but on the football side of the ledger, who's a huge wine geek on the football side of the world? Who's into it?
really the guy who got me into it was the former center at the New York Jets, Nick Mangold, who coincidentally just started a barbecue sauce line. He's big into like smoking barbecue stuff and huge into wine. So to the point where, so every rookie, especially if you're the first round draft pick, you got to take out the lineman for dinner. So they pick the most expensive place. We go to Del Frisco's in Manhattan, New York City, and this bill is sizable now. We're talking multiple thousands of dollars. And as we're leaving, Nick Mangold, we're sitting in their wine cellar room downstairs, and he calls over the waiter and kind of points back at like one of these huge Magnum bottles. And I was like, what is that for? Dinner's over, and I'm looking at the price tag on this thing like, bro, that's not cool. Well, you just bought our offensive line coach his Christmas gift. Thanks a lot. It was like this Magnum bottle of Opus One, like this beautiful, I'm like, oh man. So yeah, he hit me with that one. And then after that, I just started picking his brain about, all right, why are you into this? How do I get into this? We got a bond in more ways than one, not just football. And so that became, one of our bridges that we built between each other, building this great friendship.
I love that, Mark. Look, it's been a while since I saw you down in Southern California. I guess it was technically Orange County at a beautiful, beautiful athletes first event, a wonderful gala and night. And look, we all drank incredibly well that night. You had some of the best vintners. You had our wines, of course. But, Duane and I drink Fantesca often. You've got a few bottles of Fantesca behind you and other great stuff. Before I ask you which of the Fantesca wines is your favorite, like, what are you really digging from around the world, man? Are you a South American guy? Are you French, Spanish? Like, what are you digging?
Yeah, so there's this bottle of Purple Angel by Montes. Montes Alpha. It's a Chilean wine. And I love their story. There was a restaurant called Char in New Jersey, and the guy there put me on this wine probably in 2009, 2010. But he's like, yeah, it's this Carmenere grape. It's called the Jurassic grape. It went dormant for a while. Now it's back. This is the thing. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Like, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, whatever. Well, recently, it was funny. My brother asked a guy who he gets his wine source from. He said, hey, do you know anything about Purple Angel? And he's like, whoa, you can't get it for less than whatever per bottle, 50, 60, 70, $80. And my brother's like, really? Because it was cheap before. He goes, oh, yeah, they just hit, 98, 97 in some, wine guide or whatever. And it blew up. And so here I am telling him, oh, that's the Jurassic grape. It's back. What did I say back in 2009? This is me. This is all me. Trying to take credit for this wine. But yeah, this is one of my favorites. So we got a whole case of it back home. But this is the 17 that's done pretty well. I love their label. I love just kind of the story behind it. Similar with Fantesca, having that like family feel to it. You gravitate to that, not just the taste and everything. It's the whole ambiance. And so I feel like very similar to Fantesca, it has that draw to it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It's a very, very illustrious family, illustrious story, illustrious wine. I remember many, many days putting that wine on restaurant programs when I was a wine director and sommelier at some of the world's greatest restaurants. And I remember having that wine on the list, and people just loved it. And it's a beautiful Carmenere. I think it's Carmenere Cabernet. It's a beautiful Carmenere Cabernet blend, and it might be Merlot. But, yeah, it's a wonderful wine, man. I'm glad you dig it. I need to revisit that wine too, Mark. So I know where you are. I might have to come and have a glass.
I'll sell you some for a couple more bucks than you see online.
Mark, we met in a very unusual way. I don't know if you remember the story. You were coming out here for Bottle Rock, and I think one of your buddies was supposed to find a place for you to stay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Dave Dunn and Noah basically said, we have somewhere for you to stay. And I didn't know what to expect. And there I am watching Game of Thrones with the Hoff family.
Wasn't this like you had a college buddy, and he found like a 3-bedroom house, and then he invited like 12 people to stay there?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to go sleep on the floor. And Duane and Susan open up their home. We meet their family, and I'm just blown away. Just like DLynn. I mean, this place is incredible. Noah could have picked any picture in the world and any vineyard he's ever been to, and he picks your vineyard to put a giant poster in his office. Like it was, I didn't even feel like I was in California or something. It was incredible. And how personable you guys were, how humble you guys are. And that family atmosphere is what drew me in. And so, like I said, fast forward to a Sunday night after I'd been there a couple days, and now we're watching Game of Thrones on their family couch. I was like, these are the coolest people ever. If you guys need somebody to like clean the pool or like just tidy up or whatever, if you go out of town, I can house sit, whatever you need, So it was awesome. What a great experience. Very fortunate to have met you guys. So thank you.
You made a profound impression on our dog Layla. She misses you.
Layla, I love seeing people's dogs and like trying to think like how they would talk, and I just picture Layla as this like foreign beauty that doesn't say a whole lot, but just kind of gets her way all the time. And, she has like the wet hair look and just can kind of sit out by the pool and just kind of be like the top dog without saying much and just kind of gets her way everywhere. So that was my character or persona for Layla. So we hit it off.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's absolutely who she is. DLynn, I'm hogging the airtime. Anything you wanted to ask Mark about other wines that he enjoys or kind of pairings he enjoys?
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite, food and wine pairings? Obviously, with the restaurants being the way they are, now we have to dine outside, of course. And, every time I'm in New York, man, I'm always at that flagship location at Del Frisco's. And I go to other great restaurants there like Cote and, of course, 11 Madison Park and Maria. I mean, what are you – I know we're not in New York now. We're, thinking about these famous establishments, man. But where are you dining right now? Where are you sitting out on the patio with family and friends?
Yeah, so a lot of it, I've been very lucky during this quarantine time. My girlfriend's been with us, and she's been cooking up a storm. So it's been awesome, and I'm very lucky that way. But when we've been home, our good friend Noah has been fortunate or nice enough to let us have some of his wine in the setting, and that pairs well with just about anything. And that was a paid service announcement by Noah. But it's been a situation where this pandemic has brought our family closer. It's brought my girlfriend and my relationships to a next level, and especially with my 3-year-old son, like watching her with him, watching their relationship blossom, and being able to kick up our feet at the end of the night after an awesome dinner that she's prepared, and have that glass of wine and, just enjoy this time that we don't normally get, because she's working. I'm usually working. You're in this broadcasting space. You got to grind, man, just like you did when you were playing, and you got to study. You got to, make the phone call. You got to make the trip. You got to establish a relationship so people trust you in this new space. And that takes time, and it takes time away from your family. So I've just been so happy and blessed to be able to be home, and hopefully things turn around here soon. But this has been a wonderful time for me that I otherwise would have never gotten.
That's been the silver lining of the COVID-19 crisis. We actually had gotten together to celebrate our son's birthday on the 13th of March, and of course by the 15th of March they'd shut everything down. And so, our son and his significant other, our daughter and her fiance, all were at the house. So we had both our kids and their significant others around the table for 2.5 months. We had dinner together as a family for 2.5 months. And, when your kids are 29 and 27, you just don't get to do that anymore. So that was really, really special. I think this family time has been like the highlight of this crazy period of time for us. We've enjoyed that as well. And what's kind of ironic, we didn't know going in, like everybody, you don't know how people are going to react, what's going to happen. And of course, we haven't been able until recently to be able to have guests at the winery, and now we're able to host people outdoors, but we're able to host people again, which is great. But just reaching out and connecting with people and just talking to them, and we've been able to get actually quite a bit of wine out to people just to keep their cellar stocked. Because I don't know, I saw a statistic about a month and a half into the COVID-19 that wine consumption was up 43%, and I was really proud of myself for being above average. So
you would know both. You would know both. That's funny.
Hey, Mark, I want to know a little bit about, we all do, want to know a little bit about Fourth and Forever, man. I've seen you've had some amazing, they're friends of yours, man, and, former colleagues, if you will, teammates. You've had some amazing folks on, man. I want to know a little bit about that.
So basically, it started off as a football podcast and potentially bringing fans like an insider view of my perspective of, current events in the NFL and things like that. And then it became more of, we want to get some guests on here that we want to talk to and learn about. Most recently, and a great example was Chase Claypool, who's going to be a wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, went to Notre Dame. But learning about how he grew up and his family structure and situation. I mean, his mom worked in a traveling carnival, like a circus, and he would literally go blow up balloons and tie them, stick them to the board, and people would try and hit those balloons with darts. And I mean, as soon as I heard this, I was just like, wait, what? Like, now you're going to be this multi-million-dollar superstar in the NFL, but there you were. And he goes, oh, that wasn't it. I was actually running a side hustle, like betting on these kids and with their parents to see over under how many balloons they hit. And I was like, what? I was like, so you got a side racket going and your mom works in a traveling circus? This is crazy. So it's like funny stories like that. And then it humanizes athletes. I think that's important because, they get put on this pedestal and now you get a chance to just level with them, connect with them, understand that they're the same as all of us. And it makes it so fun to do it in a safe space where I'm not trying to, that's one of the first things I tell them is, hey man, I'm not trying to like break news or, jeopardize this relationship. Our relationship's more important than anything we have publicly. So if there's anything you're uncomfortable with, we won't address it, whatever. But stuff like Emmanuel Acho coming on, talking about, social injustice and racial injustice. He's done as, he was a football player. Then he starts grinding in the media space. We were together in Philadelphia. And now he's got this book deal with Oprah. And he's talking to me about what these conversations and what this title of the show was, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. He said it was going to be questions white people ask. And I had a white girl who was going to come on the show and ask me questions. It wasn't supposed to be a monologue. And she bailed the night before. So we got that story. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. He's like literally on the drive to go film it. She bailed. I was like, oh, my God. So it's stories like that make this fun, where it's not just X's and O's. Before the draft, we did some stuff with Tua Tagovailoa, with Justin Herbert and Jordan Love. And so those were more like in-depth, breakdown film, talk to these young kids, get them ready for this next level in some ways. If there's situations they were in that I lived through, if I could impart any knowledge, I always thought that's nice to do along the way because people did it for me. So it's been a lot of things with Fourth and Forever, but the idea is, the evergreen first 20 to 30 minutes, and then we get into some topical stuff. Hopefully you learn something about one of your favorite players and realize that, they're great people, not just great, athletes. So coming up, we got hopefully DeMarcus Ware, I think will confirm soon. And then Chris Long of the Long family dynasty in the NFL. So Howie Long, Kyle Long, and Chris Long. So we got to hit the trifecta with them because I used to live with Kyle in Chicago. So also a big wine connoisseur.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been really fun and great for me to connect with these guys and learn how to interview someone. I didn't realize how hard it was because, you do the interview and you just go on autopilot and like, hey, we got to, bring our A game and win today so we can win Sunday. You say those same stupid things for 10 years while you play. But then when you want somebody to say something on your show, you're like, please, like it's pulling teeth, So it's been educational for me.
Yeah, I got a quick question for you on that note. You're talking about Jordan Love. Did he have any idea that Green Bay was going to grab him?
So I don't really think he did. I think in some ways he had his fingers crossed a little bit for New England, thinking, Brady's gone, like I can insert myself there. But to me, because of his talent and his raw ability, I really hoped he went somewhere. And I don't know if I said Green Bay on the show, but I definitely said like a New Orleans, somewhere with an established starter where his addition to the team wouldn't deter. Like the media says a lot about him going to Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers is a starter. No, there's no two ways about it. So because Aaron has that established leadership role and he's the guy, that he could go somewhere like that to learn, to develop, to glean some things from Aaron and hopefully implement that into his game, integrate it into his game until it, becomes incarnated into his game. That's like, I said, that'll be the ticket. And I understand that's not easy for a young guy because they want to play, but to the extent you can learn from these guys, it ain't a bad gig. Look at Carson Palmer, look at Aaron Rodgers, a lot of guys who got to sit their first year and really learn from a true pro. And I think he'll benefit from that.
Mahomes had that.
Mahomes, great example of learn from one of the best guys in the league at taking care of the football. Not just a good quarterback, but taking care of the football. And he, as crazy as some of his plays turn out, he knows at the end of the day, that ball, when you hold that football, you're holding the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the entire franchise. The guy selling hot dogs in the stadium to the guy selling tickets in the upper level. I mean, it doesn't matter. That everything is about that football, and he really understands that. And I think it's because of Alex Smith.
That's fantastic. Well, hey, Mark, I think I've just got one more question for you, man. We've had a great 25 or so minute chat, and we know your time is incredibly valuable, and I'm so happy to have you on with us today, of course. But, man, where did your love of musical theater come from?
Oh, man. Let's see. I want to say 10 years old, and I went to, or maybe 8, I went to see Oliver Twist. And then for my 10th birthday, my mom took me to see Lion King. And after that, I just gravitated towards musical theater and especially musicals. It blew me away at their talent, their ability to belt out a tune on stage while they're moving around and doing flips and cartwheels and all this stuff, wearing costumes. And then when I got to New York, somebody found out about that. And it was just, on a weekly basis, especially in the off season, there were tickets to shows that are, and I'm a pretty frugal guy. These show tickets for house seats, they're $400, right?
Wow. And
they're like, hey, come to a show. We want to introduce you to the crew and all the people from the show, that the characters and all that kind of stuff. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm there. Just tell me the time, I'm in. And so once that happened, I started developing a relationship with all these people. And when people moved from company to company or, theater to theater, I was just like on their list of people to call if you wanted to come check out a show. I must have seen 100 shows at least in New York. And the comments I still get from players, but more importantly, the players' wives, because at first I'm going to all these Broadway shows and guys on the team are like, what? Like, who is this guy? And once we took them, they saw In the Heights by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Then they brought their wife. Now they had like a free pass to go out with Mark whenever they wanted. So like took it to the next level. So the players were like, bro, you're the man. Thank you so much for doing that. Wife has never been happier. This is great. So that's kind of what it became, is we got to take the wives on a date, get them into a great show that they'll love. And then, we get a chance to go out and be boys.
Hey, Mark, I got a question for you. The NBA has kind of shown how you can create a safe zone and play games, but obviously all kind of within the same construct. Going to be so different for college football, where you've got all these different individual teams from individual places, different circumstances. Obviously, USC is in a very urban area. Other teams might be from, more kind of where they're secluded. How do you think it's going to come together for college football, and what do you think the coaches and athletes are going through right now?
I think to create a virtual bubble in college is much easier than the NFL because you're going to get these kids on campus. You can pretty much control what they're doing, more or less, right? You just got to keep them out of the bars and keep them from going, to frat parties and all that stuff. But if the other students are gone, there's less worry, right, about that kind of stuff, depending state by state. But you look at the NBA, and they have a physical bubble, and players have still left. So if you're telling me that the NFL is going to create a virtual bubble, and now it's just an honor system of, hey, go straight home now, you stay out of the pool hall, I think that's a little unrealistic. And then it just becomes, how much do you want to win? How much do you want to have a season? And how selfless can you be? Because as soon as you take that risk and bring that risk, or as soon as you take on that risk and bring on that risk to someone else, now you've undermined the whole thing. So I just think that is a tall task. I think it's a little bit easier in college, though.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, appreciate it so much, you taking the time to chat with us today. And I'm glad to see you're well. I'm glad to hear your family's well. I wish you all the success for the season. And we really look forward to having you back up here. Layla misses you, so come back as soon as you can.
I'll be back up there. I got to bring my son DJ. He's got to meet Layla, and we got to smash some grapes, man. That'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Good to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mark. I can't wait to raise a glass with you soon. And, I think he's going. I can't wait to raise a glass with him soon, and we'll get him back up to the estate and social distance and have a great time. Duane, that was another great chat, man. You always ask wonderful questions, and it's always a fun time chatting with you, man. Always.
Thank you. I really appreciate Mark coming on and sharing a little bit with us. It's great to hear he's doing well and excited for the new season. I can't wait for the football season. I'm really stoked. So
I am too. Well, hey, before we run, I'm going to be very, very careful here. I'm going to grab the 3-liter and not the 5-liter. Because these are not dummy bottles. These are the real deal, man. We're very fortunate to debut Lady Verona, on our newest rendition. This is the 2018 vintage, of course, but, we specially made these. These are laser etched, hand painted, a very, very limited run. This is actually the first time we've done this. 3 liters and 5 liters of our 2018 Fantesca Estate and Winery, Russian River Valley Reserve, of course, Chardonnay. And we still do have a few left. When I say few, we have a handful. And we'd love for, all of you great collectors out there to just give us a ring, allocations@fantesca.com or info@fantesca.com to inquire about these and acquire them as well. But hey, Duane, always a pleasure. We've got some great guests coming up, and I still hope you get Drew Bledsoe on. So we got to make that happen. So
now we got Nick Mangold. We got to track him down too. So.
Yeah, we got to track down Nick Mangold as well. So a lot of great folks out there love wine, and we're just going to keep doing what we do, supplying incredible and amazing wine with amazing stories. Come and see us, 2920 Spring Mountain Road at Fantesca Estate and Winery. Well, hey, Duane, I'm sure I'll be talking to you later or tomorrow very soon. And take it easy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and joining us today. And Fantesca out.